much that they're doing it. It's the fact that people are now accepting infringes upon their Fourth Amendment and their personal properties as the new normal.
Well, their policy even says,
that's what I hate.
You know, we're thinking that the minor inconvenience is totally worth the extra security.
Yeah, and
but there is no extra security.
Right. And we'll talk. We'll talk with Kenneth a little bit on that. Yeah,
I suppose we can.
Yeah, it's stupid.
All right, we'll be right back.
At odds.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. But doctors have recently discovered they are unable to reverse or control serious side effects, such as internal bleeding caused by Xarelto. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Call now if you or a loved one was hospitalized from any form of internal bleeding or stroke after taking Xarelto. You may be entitled to a cash award and substantial financial compensation. Don't be a silent victim. There is limited time to file a claim, so call now. Call 800-837-9483. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-837-9483. That's 800-837-9483. Again, 800-837-9483.
Hi, this is Jeff Carlisi from the band 38 Special. The mainstream media has failed the American people once again. Internet radio networks like Red State Talk Radio will not fail you. Tune in 24 hours a day. Studios A and B. Great conservative programming around the clock. Red State Talk Radio, the dominant force in Internet conservative talk radio.
The offer of a franchise can only be made through delivery of a franchise disclosure document. Imagine yourself being a leader in America's fastest growing demographic category. More than 10,000 people a day turn 65, and a large percentage are going to need a helping hand at home or in choosing the right assisted living community. Always Best Care is looking for people who've excelled at everything they've done, but they're seeking a new challenge. Always Best Care is one of the fastest growing companies in this explosive field. We're looking for 25 new franchisees to keep our booming business growing. We'll back you up with the strongest award-winning marketing program in the industry, and we'll provide the special training and support that's fueled our growth to prepare you for this great opportunity. All that's missing is you. Call Always Best Care toll-free at 1-800-643-3819. That's 1-800-643-3819. For Always Best Care, 1-800-643-3819. Call today.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 877-595-5381. That's 877-595-5381. Again, 877-595-5381. Call now.
From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys.
Potatoes and fried chickens. Yeah, the Odd Show with Nate and Brian. Mm-hmm.
And welcome back to At Odds. I'm Nate. That's Brian over there.
Oh, fried chicken and mashed potatoes.
Fried chicken. I don't know why this came up, but we were talking about Buffalo Wild Wings at the break, and I don't know why we didn't order
had
wings into the studio.
Because when I was sick,
do they have wings here in Canada?
They do.
They have hockey, I heard.
It's not the Red Wings, only once in a while.
When they
play.
beat them.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Trivia
question.
Who was the only first lady not born in the U.S.? Ready?
Yeah.
Louisa Adams, wife of John Quincy Adams.
Of course.
She was born February 12th, 1775 in London.
So you mean born in...
I didn't write the question.
America. You didn't? You're stealing these from somebody?
Of course
what
I
I'm saying, right, is because Washington's wife, was he married?
Martha.
Was not born in the United States of America.
Either was
George Washington.
George Washington.
Right.
None of them were.
Huh. Oh.
But that doesn't negate the point that all of the first ladies, well, except for Martha. It's not a very good trivia question.
It isn't at all. Okay,
disregard it. Anyways, our guest is Kenneth Herman. He lives in the Clio area, which is north of Flint. For those that might be familiar with the state of Michigan,
which is in Michigan, yeah.
He in Michigan, it's lawful to open carry a firearm if you have a concealed pistol license in schools. You can't carry concealed, but you can carry openly. And so Kenneth would open carry, taking his daughter to school and back and forth, and they basically blocked him and said, "You can't do it."
We'll let him explain a little bit of this. But.
Okay, and so Michigan open carry, and Mr. Herman decided to sue the school and say, "You can't do that." And we'll let Kenneth talk about that. Welcome to the show, Kenneth.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good.
How are you?
Pretty good.
So Brian did this just a little bit, but quickly, minute or less. Can you kind of give us an idea of what led up to the lawsuit? I mean, why did you decide to file a lawsuit against Clio area schools?
Well, the deciding factor was pretty much I tried to work with the schools, and I tried to talk to them. I tried to provide them with all the laws and citations so that they could understand what they were doing and their policies were unlawful. However, that met quite a bit of resistance. Despite all of my efforts, it just wasn't going anywhere. So that was my next logical step, is that they're unlawfully banning me from the school and anybody else that might be lawfully carrying at the school. So I was really left with no choice.
So you actually had some situations where they wouldn't let you enter the school?
Yes, several.
Okay. And so what was the basis of the lawsuit? What were you looking for?
All I was looking for is compliance with Michigan state law. And that is all. I have to follow the law. They have to follow the law, plain and simple. I'm not looking to get rich off it or, do a bunch of damage to the school's budget, which they've had their own issues with. I'm just looking for them to follow the law. It's quite simple.
Oh boy, what I have. Okay, so let's look at the arguments. Your argument was this, and we'll get to it in a minute. But what were they saying gave them the right to ban firearms in their school?
I couldn't really tell you, because everything that they have cited in their lawsuits or in their responses so far have not in any way, shape, or form been related to the banning of firearms in a school by a parent or a guardian. There was one that they cited about school policies about having dangerous weapons in the school from a student back in I want to say the mid-'90s or the late '90s. And other than that, they haven't had actually any legal argument other than homophobia, which, again, is not a legal argument.
Yeah, they cited a Court of Appeals decision where a student brought in a BB gun and they kicked him out, and that was fought, saying, well, I don't know, it wasn't a firearm or something. They didn't have the authority. And they won, but there is a state law that says they can ban students from carrying weapons. So that's an entirely different scenario than adults with a concealed pistol license, which is allowed by state law to carry in. So that didn't even apply to your case. And I remember reading their argument, and it was a lot of emotion. Oh, they just shouldn't do it, and schools have to protect their children, and we just don't want guns. And it was really a whole bunch of nothing. And so
it was.
And your argument was basically, here's what the law says, follow it. And we have preemption in the state that says local unit of governments, which is considered a school, can't have firearm regulations more stringent than the state, right? So you go to court. What happens?
Well, they ended up filing a motion to dismiss the case on lack of substance or, I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact legal terminology.
That's okay.
But they wanted it dismissed, and long story short is the judge had to follow the law as it was written, and it's already been to Court of Appeals on it with the Capital Area District Library versus MOC, Michigan Open Carry.
Right.
And he was obviously obligated to follow that law. So the judge handed down the decision that we essentially won, and they had no basis for their argument, at least no legal basis at that time. And we won that case, and now that they've announced to the press that they will appeal to the Court of Appeals, which, again, has already ruled on this case.
So at this point, you say you won the case. What does that mean?
It's just the next step in the legal process. They're going to take it to the Court of Appeals, which obviously, like I said, the Court of Appeals, CADL versus MOC, has already ruled that schools are under preemption, the MCL 123-1102 in Michigan, that they cannot ban the lawful carry of firearms.
So what that
on
means,
their property.
that means now that they can't stop you from carrying your gun in the school, and it applies to that whole circuit where that court has jurisdiction.
Exactly.
All
and
right,
they're taking it essentially to that court, so I guess they can get another ruling, which is going to be exactly the same, I expect.
No,
and
but
then,
okay.
Who knows from there?
Yeah, so now they're allowing you to carry in the school, right? They said, we surrender.
The judge's orders, whether or not they'll follow those orders, I think history has shown us already that they're not compliant with the law, so I don't
are they going
to really follow the orders of a judge either.
So what changed? And they're still going to do what they're going to do, which is what? Somebody comes on there.
I don't know. It's remained to be seen at this time. What they'll end up doing, as far as what they've reported to the press, is that they'll go on lockdown and they'll prevent me from entering the school, which is in direct violation of that order, which I expect there to be criminal charges against them for. And along with, personally, if they do take it to that step, I will go for a civil suit and monetary damages at that point.
Now,
for any and all occasions that they deny me access to the school.
And now here's the thing. Now they said they're also going to call law enforcement. So
that's fine.
Do the police want to get involved in this? I mean, the Lansing police didn't really want to with the capital area library.
It's funny you mentioned that because just a few days ago I did stop in. My daughter's going to be going to the middle school in Clio, which is actually within the city limits of Clio. So we have our own police department there. I stopped in and talked to the police chief to kind of make sure that he is on the same page. He knows the laws, and most of all, his officers know the law.
Right.
I live within the city limits, and I don't want any issues with the police department, just like I didn't want any issues with the sheriff's department.
Well, what'd they say?
My profession is a paramedic, and I work with these people because I work in the Clio area. So it didn't go over that well. It essentially said that they're going to do whatever the school district wants to.
Oh,
so
really?
Unfortunately, I can kind of see myself pursuing civil suit against the police department too, unfortunately, which I really don't want. We're a small town.
Right.
And it'd be quite devastating to have a civil suit against the police department.
And that's your tax money.
We don't exactly have a large budget.
So what was the chief aware of this case?
Oh, yes, he was very aware.
And he still thinks that he can go in there and kick you out?
It seems that way. I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but his exact words were that he's going to do whatever the school district wants.
Wow. Okay. So school district won't protect him when he's sued.
Yeah, right.
Right. And that, unfortunately, that's going to end up with, obviously a violation of the court.
I think you need to
decision.
talk. You need to talk to the city council or the mayor or the superintendent to have a little talk with the police chief, because and you need to mention that they're opening themselves up for a real civil lawsuit, and not only that, but probably a civil rights lawsuit, and the police will lose their immunity and they can be sued individually. That's an issue you need to get across.
in addition to the criminal charges. And obviously any Clio police officer that attempts to enforce that or commits even a misdemeanor act, which would be a violation of that court order, since they're in possession of